incredible survivability. Camazot's the exact same thing. Cthulhu, Hell, all incredibly survivable. If your sole source of pure damage output is either Olorun or Sun Wukong in the late, I'm not sure Sun Wukong wins too many of those fights.
Well, I got some good news and some bad news.
For this one, Aggro, there's a whole lot to talk about with the Kings draft, and I think we can get into that. But instead, I'm going to start with the Leviathans. A little more straightforward over there. That comp just lives through everything?
Yeah,
Maybe?
they've got a ton of sustain, man. And they're hard to kill, even if you took away the healing.
Sustain and survivability is what I see with the Leviathans draft. But Khepri was setting up a lot of really good potential here. Now Shinto, again, in a little bit more of an uncomfortable position. They're too low to try and fight here. Zap's still going to move forward with it. The knock-up. Try and control genetics. Wrong U gets pulled. A good dash gets him out of there. And now Panatom's here to try and fight, but it's going to be the bleed. It's going to be some damage. And Netroid gets the first blood and second blood. Let's make it a double kill for the carry. The Olorun starting off hot.
That is absolutely massive for the Kings. It's Mannequin, Scepter,
like
Chalk mid, you know, Benny obviously in the SCC for the Winter Dogs. Benny Q, their mid laner, playing Set mid and Tsukiyomi mid and Wukong mid was a big part of it. As Variety getting chased down now on the right.
It's just going to be a little bit more damage. The ult should be good here. Hardcore has to walk forward, takes a tower shot for his troubles. But he's going to be just fine. Nobody rotating from the other side. It's a purple buff invade. Up 10 seconds left for the beads.
Yep.
Netroid was susceptible to it. They're in more than enough control here. And Zapman's getting pulled back. Twig is here. Pin's going to be good. There's the taunt as well. But it's going to be Twig taking too much damage. Scarab's Blessing saves his life, or it should, upon landing. No, it cancels out. It chimes out there. Genetics isn't able to make the save. Zapman sends him through the realms and gets the kill. Genetics has no mana to work with. Is forced to run away. Panatom blink forward. A couple more hits is all it'll take. Bat out of hell, and he secures the kill. That's 2 down on the side of the Kings. Netroid just trying to stay alive, and there's not much he can do about it. He gets taken down. It's a 3 for none in favor of the Leviathans.
Even with that great start for the Kings on the left side of the map, that's where the Leviathans were able to make their stand, and now it's Big Man Tings up against the entirety of the Leviathans over here. But Shinto just got nearly one-shot by the full combo, and now he's up in the Somersault Cloud. This is getting awkward.
Yeah, he's going to jump down, slam down with the cudgel, but not enough to take the Gold Fury. Tings
out of this, because you certainly don't outscale the Hell. I don't think that Wukong mid is horrible late game. I think it can be fine, but you don't outscale.
Well, Panatom going for a red buff steal. Instead, the Tings stun misses. Twig does get rezzed this time. Scarab's Blessing on the mark, and Twig is going to get out of there. Genetics is now trying to find the control. Panatom has a little bit of damage, but not enough to find the kill onto the support. Instead, that's going to be Hardcore who finds that. It's jungle for support is the trade as of now. Shinto trying to get the damage out there, and Big Man Tings goes down. The Cthulhu is big as of now, and Variety is getting locked up. Twig looking to try and find a way back into this fight. Netroid's around, but no ult for him means that it's going to slow down. Triple kill for Hardcore. He's just not slowing down. They're going to keep going under the tier 1. Netroid, a little bit of tick damage could do the trick, but nobody's going to have it. Zapman around the corner, sees the back, gets an auto, gets the second, and gets the kill. A huge swing once again in favor of the Leviathans.
And it's these groupings for the Leviathans that just look huge. I mean, that's such a big team fighting tool, so that's a good look. I want to talk about the compositions, but people just keep fighting.
Yeah, Twig, unfortunately, is in a bad spot right now. Uses the turtle form, tries to stay alive, is dancing around the Scorpion in these walls. Beads are going to be used, and he's trying to disengage. He's got Variety. There's a good taunt. Twig just trying to stay alive, but the ult from Hardcore is going to make sure he gets the kill. Now, Variety is left in a 3-on-1, turned 3-on-2. Genetics makes a good rotation over here, and Panatom has to retreat due to a low health bar, low mana bar. Wrong Hugh seems to be falling back as well, so it's going to be a 1 for none pickup. Twig falls.
Okay, so now I think I actually have a window to talk about the compositions and how they're going to work, because so far this Wukong mid, I mean, it has a lot of farm. It's the highest level in the game alongside Zapman at 17. You got 3 complete items that instead of being a 2-3, it ends up being a 3-2. And teams aren't usually as prepared for that. It's a little bit less conventional. And there's a lot of value in going with something a little bit different in those worlds. But the Leviathans have drafted so well because they Deathball.
Yeah, Twig goes in, gets a taunt right now, but you know, Deathball is maybe the appropriate term. Surround the jungler and just kill him dead. He had no chance to fight back there. The Pyromancer was what kicked things off throughout all of that. Somebody got it. It actually goes the way of the Kings. So they're able to steal away the objective. But they might have lost the bigger one. Fire Giant started up by the Leviathans. The fight going to be getting picked up on the back end. Hardcore doing whatever he can for the zone.
Wow.
Tings is just gone, and that makes it a 3-on-5. Variety's half health. He's forced to fall back. Genetics isn't able to do much. Did use a little bit of that mist. Unfortunately for him, Cthulhu 2 covers all of it and then some. So even trying to stay hidden there isn't the best case scenario, but that's where we see Netroid and Genetics playing right now. They're laying in wait. Fire Giants at 3/4 HP. They're just holding on to it. There's the ult from Hardcore, and he's going to go for full-on zone mode. Shinto getting aggressive as well, but Genetics is here. Twig has respawned at this point. They've taken a lot. Wrong U is incredibly low. Genetics goes in, and he's going to try and fight this. He has to use the Scarab's Blessing on himself. So there's the Sanctified Fields, and they're trying to keep the fight going, but it's just not enough. Zapman picks up Netroid. Hardcore picks up Genetics. Ting still isn't back. Variety's forced to fall away, and Twig, well, he respawns just to die. They get the deicide, and they get the Fire Giant.
Man, Yarkor, I mean, yes, the Leviathans, Wrong U was taking a lot of damage from fire. Zap and Shinto getting poked down as well. But Yarkor isn't taking any damage. He is 6-0-6 on this Cthulhu. And the whole idea of this composition for the Kings is centered in the fact that they believe that Oleron alone can kill Cthulhu. That has to be the crux of their argument for this composition to work. And so far, that just has not been the case. He has not been able to actually threaten this Cthulhu at all.
So far, Twig, Variety getting pushed and bullied over here on right, and the back does get stopped. Variety gets left alone here with Panatom bat out of hell. This might just be a solo kill as well. If anything, Panatom's at least going to keep him busy. Tier 2 on left gets taken down by the Leviathans. They're starting to put a little bit of pressure on the Phoenix. You do get the kill if you're Panatom, but you lose Shinto, and you might lose Zap on the left-hand side. Maybe staying for welcome too much. Ends up going back into the backline of the Kings, and Zapman gets isolated. There's Big Man Ting showing face, and finally able to get something done. Beads used by Wrong U. He's just trying to stay alive and get out of here. Hardcore's making a rotation. As much as I don't think they'll win this fight if they take it, at least is enough to
have. You are constantly skill checking them, because if you mess up your relics or positioning at all, they will kill you regardless, and that's exactly what just happened.
Netroid is isolated. No ult to his name, but both relics available. Doesn't seem to matter. You could use everything in the kit, and it is not going to stop the damage that is coming your way. Genetics has the Scarab's Blessing, but no use using it here. Panatom gets the kill, so the dual lane returns some of the damage dealt collapse.
Big difference now is that Zap has crit. He's got that Wind Demon, so he's going to be hitting a lot harder on these objectives.
A lot harder to say. He hasn't got a crit in the last few seconds. He's going to be maybe upset about that one, but it's doing enough damage. They get the Fire Giant, and they start off the fight. Hardcore goes up, and the ult is there. There's a Sanctified Field, but it's not going to let you escape the Cthulhu, and he is chasing you down. The knockup is good. Netroid is low. The Scarab's Blessing thrown out there onto Genetics himself, and it's not going to be able to save the carry. Netroid goes down. Genetics falls right after. Twig, guess what? He's the third on the list, and now it's Variety and Tings versus the world. Tings is in mid lane as of right now, and that is not going to be helpful. Variety makes it back to the fountain, stays alive, but it's 5-man strong as the Leviathans walk in to take game number 1.
And they made it look like child's play in this game. In this comp for the Kings, I liked the idea, but again, it all hinged on the fact that they had to prove to me that Oleron alone could kill Cthulhu. And they've done the exact opposite. They've just proven that he cannot kill Cthulhu. And as a result, I don't think we're going to be seeing a whole lot of solo Oleron carries like we saw right here. If Cthulhu's
RTO, so team fights, a little bit of anti-heal is going to be required among some of these teams. We saw the Sun Wukong get the Brawlers beat sick last time around. We'll see how it works out for the Camelot Kings here in game number 2. They got to try and take down the Atlantis Leviathans. Can they do it in game number 2? Let's kick it right to the battleground.
Now let's watch to see if the Kings can turn things around. They grab the Cthulhu. He's on the other side of the map for a little while, so he doesn't have to worry about Netroid. At least until, what, 15 minutes from now, maybe. A little bit earlier than that, depends on how this duo lane goes. Was a double kill last time, we even mentioned it. That this is a lane can do the work of 3 people if necessary, but it's Variety that's in trouble on the other side, who is just trying to stay alive under the tower. Can't do it. Panatom with a great level 2 gank gets rid of the Cthulhu.
Dual lane has stabilized, I would say, for the Leviathans.
Shinto in a little bit of trouble, maybe a lot of bit of trouble, takes way more damage than anticipated. Twig, or Tings, ends up getting juked out slightly. Cudgel makes up the difference though. As he turns around, gets a kill onto his opposing mid laner much earlier. And the bad news is for the Leviathans, is that while they have this lead you had highlighted, hovering mostly on the right-hand side, there's a certain point where Variety's still going to be a late-game Cthulhu, but Tings might be a different story. Can't make it up onto the Somersault Cloud, and Wrong Yu gets credit for the kill. The 3v1 chases down Twig as well, forces the assassinate, and makes sure that the Kings are uncomfortable in the mid lane.
Wukong became the hunted. He thought he was the hunter trying to spring a trap there on Shinto with Twig's positioning as well.
Panatom, that tower had no health, blinks forward, doesn't get the Cthulhu, but does still get the tower, forces Variety to fall back under the tier 2, and guess what happens to be here? Blue buff, you'll never guess what spawns in just a few seconds. Speed buff as well. Variety, though, that gets rooted, forced to ult, but the health is low, and the damage is there. And that is all that matters. The Leviathans are
Yeah, well, you know, I like their draft. I think they're doing things well. They just aren't doing the things. You know, their theory on how to do the things is good, but they're not actually going out there and executing it all. And the Kings are just letting it happen around them.
Well, this might be the chance to turn it around. It's Hardcore and Wrong Yu versus the world, it feels like. Panatom's still hanging around, though, and they've got just enough healing, just enough health to make this work out for them. But it is a low call. Hardcore is getting forced out, and there's the Cthulhu. Well, Variety, not sure who he wants to focus on. They turn around onto Panatom, and they get the kill onto the jungler. Shinto's rotated in, and some low health bars. Tings and Twig are going to get chased down. Shinto tries to find him, but won't be able to close the gap. Variety has to come out of the ultimate. It looks like the Kings are going to be able to disengage the way they would like to, stay alive, and get themselves a kill.
Unbelievable that Yarkor doesn't die. They probably won't have that third item or fourth item complete yet. Let's fight now. Let's play around that.
That actually seems to be the exact way the Leviathans are viewing it. Look at where their items are and look at where the health bars are for the Kings. Tings makes himself up in the sky. Somersault Cloud got some healing, but is he going to be able to get away? Not with a great stun from Zapman. Locks him up the way they need to. And now the aggression is onto Genetics. Twig just hovering behind their tier 1 tower in mid. Variety comes in and then leaves immediately with Shinto in tow, trying to continue the chase. A while to get there. Kings as of right now, but they've got the gold, and it feels like the time to work with.
Absolutely, and to clarify, the pen doesn't matter for the ESAF passive. It's just about doing extra damage besides your passive. Speaking of extra damage, Twig got a big order of that.
And let's just throw this out there. That was not your mid laner. There was no jungler. There was no carry involved.
Guardians.
That was Wrong Yu and Hardcore stepping up to Twig and making him regret everything. All under a tier 1. Primal Fury.
Guardians, by the way.
Yeah, Guardians. Where the Leviathans go. It looked like they were going to try to catch out Tings. The bird form has a lot of move speed and gets you away pretty quickly. Panatom is chasing down Genetics. It's a 5-level gap between the jungler and the support, and some body blocks are going to be good. They're going to go ahead and proc the Scarab's Blessing, because who cares? You'll just kill him afterward. And they get rid of the front line for the Kings. Variety is locked up, forced to ult, and they are still chasing him down and burning him with nothing to worry about right now. Variety's trying to turn it around, but nobody is hurting on the side of the Leviathans. They're going to be able to heal this up and turn their eyes right towards the FG.
And this one's going to be easy for them. No shot the Kings come in to contest. Maybe you send Tings on the suicide mission, but it seems like he's just trying to get to that point where he can actually one-shot Shinto or Zapman. Leviathan just keep doing it. They keep grouping faster than the Kings. They keep
throws the shot from the ultimate towards Variety, and that's going to be enough to thwart the aggression from this Cthulhu, but it's Twig just taken down, couldn't even return some damage onto Panatom there, and they turn this into a 4v5. Let's go ahead and make it a 3. No, Variety makes it out alive, but it's Tings, Netroid, and Genetics trying to fight versus the world. The Phoenix is going to go down. The Leviathans get to choose whether or not to stay aggressive. They've got 25 seconds left with this Fire Giant belt. It seems like they're going to turn their eyes towards the left side Phoenix as well. Still a 4v5. They just got some healing done. That's going to be a big deal.
And Netroid still has that ultimate. Sanctified Field could be huge here. We got to see how he uses it.
So far, undropped. Finally, it comes out. Zapman's low, so is Wrong Yu, but they make it out alive. Well, that's more to say that Zapman killed just after the Sanctified Fields. And they saved the left side Phoenix. Tings' clone is trying to get a little bit of work done, but the rest of the Kings
for themselves by thinking they have to continue to dive the Ola run, that he's the guy you got to kill. And Yarkor has just played so patiently, been ready to just hit frontline, hit who's in front of him, CC for the rest of his team.
Wow, Tings just deleted. They have an Oni Fire Wave there as well, so that is a strengthened mid lane right now. And you do not have your pseudo second assassin available for you. Loki, Twig hasn't been able to get too much done, and now it seems like he's going to be the one who's getting isolated. Right side Phoenix gets burned like it's nothing. The Leviathans just walking forward towards the Titan room, and it doesn't seem like the Kings have a lot of answers. Sanctified Fields is available, but it's not going to be used. Scarab's Blessing procs, and Genetics stays alive this time. Makes it back to the fountain, stays alive. Variety goes up into the ult, and he's going to be enough to force the Leviathans to start falling back. Shinto is low. Twig tries to get the kill, but Zapman gets a good crit and saves his mid laner. Now they turn the damage around. Netroid is going to fall. Sanctified Fields doesn't do enough. Variety goes down. Genetics just for good measure. And they get the deicide, and they get game number 2.
Leviathans just dominating right now here in the debut game for the group stages. They have been phenomenal so far, and it's not just this change to best of 5.
Hubris coming out of them saying, no, we swear this pick is good, but they go back to the Tiamat. We'll see if this composition works out for the Camelot Kings in game number 3. Let's jump it right down onto the field to see how it all pans out.
You know, Aggro, let's talk about a god I completely forgot about.
Sure.
Tiamat is in this game.
Oh yeah, she good too. So he can do it really easily. I'm excited to see some more flag and a benevolence on the other side for Rongu as well.
I like the idea of it being pure frustration. What a good root pull combo. There's going to be the damage. There's going to be an easy first blood in the duo lane. Genetics serving it up on a silver
flag
platter.
value is really there for him right now.
Just frustrated from game 2. He's like, I'm not falling behind again if I can have it. Although now might not be the time to get aggressive. Genetics will get taken down. A little bit overzealous here in the jungle. Twig is getting chased. Panatom, Rongu make haste. Try to collapse in on that. They use the fog, close gap. They get to Tings. There's a little bit of damage. There's going to be the knock-up from the Bacchus and the follow-through as well. Takes a lot of mana, but they still get the kill. A nice 2-trade for the Leviathans.
Yeah, going for the jump in.
Start to see the turnaround. But unless this goes really well for Twig, which it might, Hardcore has no mana to work with. Variety keeps him busy. There's going to be a good taunt. They do have the pin still available. The damage is there, and they pick up a kill. They shut down the Cthulhu. They might even be able to chase down Panatom. Not a lot of mana to work with.
Smart play.
It seems like
Look at where Rongu is. He's in the mist.
Yeah, Panatom is laying in wait as well. The jungle seems to be great. The mist helps on one side. Panatom just plays the role of jungler on the other. They collapse in. Don't get the beads. Set things up. Twig going behind the tier 1. Genetics goes forward. Knockup's not going to connect. Zapman gets a good dash. Pin is way off the mark. And Zapman seems to be just fine. Dark Portal gets the silence. The damage seems to be good right now. The knockup from the Bacchus keeps him alive. Zapman finally goes down. But they're going to trade out Twig, or at least try to make sure this works their way. Twig gets the heal from the 9 turns. Blessing stays alive. But Shinto, Panatom make the rotation in. Genetics, Twig are low. They have to decide the target, though. And there's a good pin to help disengage from Twig. Good knockup just off the mark from Rongu. The stun is there, but now it's the turnaround. Tings gets aggressive. Variety's in the sky. He gets the knockup onto Shinto. Everyone on the Leviathan's low and trying to run away. Shinto barely alive and still skirts this one out. Genetics is low, and the Bat out of Hell will help find the kill. Panatom finally gets something out of all of this, but it might cost him his life. No mana to work with. Variety is there. The healing is good, but the stun is better. Variety helps tie that one up.
That was actually
11 minutes in. There was a much larger lead last time around in favor of the Leviathan, so still something they're going to have to be cautious with. Hey, speaking of cautious, good knockup. Rongu helps set up Twig. And you're not cautious enough in the jungle. Genetics now looking to be caught out. They have the damage. It's just the chase down that matters most. Tries to get away. Good juke shoes for a while. But eventually all trees get chopped down. Genetics taken away, and Variety forced to ult. Hey, there's where that blink could have come in handy.
Yep.
If only he was level 12. Might still be good enough. Panatom uses the blink to engage. Variety uses it to try and get away. Stun, met for stun, but there's the Intoxicate. Belly flop off the mark. Bat out of Hell comes through. Shinto dies off in the middle of nowhere there in the jungle, and they're still chasing Variety. Finally, someone gets the kill, makes it a 1-for-1, but it's low health for Panatom, or for Rongu. And Panatom and the rest of the crew have a lot of work to do to make up for that.
Panatom in trouble now. No beads, no ultimate, yanked back by Genetics. Finally getting lower, but still alive for now.
Oh, and what a great ult from Hardcore. Does a lot, but there's Genetics finding the kill. The damage that is dealt. The Kings are low, but Zapman, Hardcore have nothing to work with in terms of
build
health.
just continues for Tings. He's gone E-Staff now. Seems like both mid laners on that train.
Well, Zapman looks to be caught out. Good taunt from Twig, keeps him in. Sanctified Fields, maybe a little bit of overkill. A lot of ults used from the Kings to only get 1 kill and a purple buff, but they still get it of his HP scooped away by the Leviathans. Rongu sitting a little worse for wear than that. He's going to go for the
Nice.
engage. Two-man knockup. Great Intoxicate as well, but there's the Sanctified Fields to turn things around. The damage is ringing true, and Rong Yu gets taken away. Hardcore in the backline up as the largest Cthulhu you can see, and looks for Tings. They find the kill thanks to Panatom, but now Panatom's trying to stay alive. Same thing can be said for Twig, but 9 turns Blessing works out real well for him. The junglers still alive and still running, as most of the Kings are half health. Hardcore falls down. Seems like they're looking for the re-engage, a dash forward from Hardcore. They're trying to figure out who to go on, and it's Variety who re-aggresses, finds Zapman, gets the kill, finds Shinto thanks to Netroid, and now it's Hardcore and Panatom versus the world, and they just don't have the health to work with. A double kill for Netroid, and you might as well take it to 3 and a full-on deicide here in a second.
Triple kill for Netroid. You called it there, Goremizer, and that's going to be Fire Giant for the Kings as they secure the deicide. That fight, just Variety makes such a big difference. Rong Yu goes in, gets a big Intoxicate, gets his Onk off. It's good, for sure.
Variety goes up onto the branches of Yggdrasil. Looking for the back line. Might be able to find it. The Phoenix goes down pretty easily. Rong Yu takes so much damage between Netroid and Tings that there's just not much you can do as a lonely Bacchus. There is the ult from the Cthulhu, but it's too late. Hardcore gets taken down, and the Kings are looking to run forward, potentially into the Titan room. There's a Phoenix. Can't take mid just yet. Tier 2 still available. They're going to have to fall back here. Trying to kill off the support. They're not able to find it. The rest of the Leviathans fall back, reset, get to the fountain, and now they've got 2 minion waves to walk forward with. That's going to be the engage from the Kings, but it's Hardcore instead who's leading the way. Twig is low, Genetics is knocked up,
my!
and there's Rong Yu. They're going to turn that one around and start pushing them back one by one. Netroid gets taken down. Tings is trying to stay alive, but Panatom has his number. But Twig with a huge save slows this down and keeps it neutral.
That is massive for Twig, saving his mid laners. I mean, it'll reset, so it'll heal some of that back up, but not all of it.
Well, now there's the re-engage. Sanctified Fields thrown out. Rong Yu got a good knock-up onto Twig, but doesn't have the follow-up. Eats a lot of their health bar in kind. Hardcore gets aggressive. Hardcore has ult and goes up now for the knock-up. The control should be there. Netroid is the target. Aegis was used, and now the chase down is there, but no one has to follow through. He's still alive. Finally, someone's able to kill him, but not before Panatom falls. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far, and up into the skies, onto the tree goes Variety, looking for the re-engage. Zapman is the primary
Holding
target,
his
and
ground.
Zapman is gone. Shinto has a lot of damage. Shinto has a lot of health, but it is gone in the blink of an eye. Great engage from Tings as well as Variety. Make sure they can't get away with what they're trying. HP shield keeps Twig alive. Twig's so close to turning this around and gets it onto Hardcore, gets the deicide, and the Kings stay alive in this set.
It took a little bit more than they wanted it to. A valiant defense there by the Leviathans. As Hardcore finally got some farm, you saw how much harder.
Cthulhu Morrigan composition, and all of a sudden everybody's kind of reminded, oh yeah, Cthulhu is kind of good. Now we see them kind of bleed over for a few other spots. But game number 4 with the Leviathans and the Camelot Kings starting up right now. Let's throw it right over to Goran Aggro.
Well, we do get Tiamat coming back this time around, but a different Serpent shows they do have a lot of control. Right now they're skirmishing a little bit in the jungle. That's going to be the re-engage. Powwow comes up for Twig. And again, none of the chains are going to connect here. Twig's going to fall right back where they were. Variety's come back in, but Twig's been taken down. Panatom gets the first blood, and now they're chasing for a little bit more. Variety is low health and trying to heal through this. The bear is alive and running, but not enough to get away. Double kill for the jungle on the Leviathans to start things off. Granted, we've seen that a lot. Sometimes you miss the early ones, and then you hit the ones that matter. Might walk in, doesn't steal the speed buff, might just kill off Panatom in his speed buff. Will do so. Twig gets hyper-aggressive. Hardcore is rotating around to cut off his path. Shinto is here to try and find the route. They're both going to be a little bit late, but they get the kill. It's 1-for-1. Ultimately, you waste the speed buff. Zapman trying to stay alive. Netroid and Genetics.
Secure, though, on this Kukulkan, so Gold Fury flips. Should be weighted for the Kings.
Yeah, half health already burned down. There's the Tornado. Spirit of the Nine Winds, maybe a little bit too soon. Kings do secure it, but they might lose Genetics. He's going to be an easy kill pickup for the Leviathans. But support for Gold Fury is a tale as old as time. Worthwhile for the Leviathans. They're going to try to find a little bit more, though.
Nice.
Great knockbacks from Hardcore. Keep Variety in the fight when he wanted to get out. Zapman gets a double kill, and they make that a little more worthwhile.
That is big, and the Kings having to stick Secures down, they should count themselves pretty lucky that they ended up getting it.
Ooh, Zap leaps over the wall. Twig with a great follow-through on the blink. That is going to be low health. Beads available. Yeah, not going to be able to save that. Powwow chain connects this time and saves the life. Twig gets out. Stun seems like so recently. what you can do late game. I think it was against Twig. It was Lasbra who was just hunting him down in the late game on this dodgy. Something that you could see Twig potentially do as this continues. Tier 1 in right gets taken down. Variety trying to get out with their life, and so far it seems to be going their way. The dash is good, but the health bar just does not seem to be able to sustain this amount of damage. Hardcore, credit for the kill. It leads 6-2 for the Leviathans, but it is a 100 gold
That
lead
is
the other direction.
preposterous. That is absolute insanity from him.
We'll have to double check it, but honestly it sounds like it's accurate. We'll see if he can keep that up. Genetics right now is under the eyes of the Leviathan, so is Twig. Twig's up on the Palau trying to stay alive. A couple of chains connect. Beads get used there by Panatom, and there is a nice ult from Tings. Unfortunately, not going to be able to find any big damage. Not turn anything around. Jump in from Zap. The stun just a little wide. And he's looking for the long-range damage. Misses, has no mana to work with. And now it's all up to the autos. They do still get the kill onto Genetics, but it's cost a lot to get here. Zap has no mana to work with, and that's going to be Netroid finding the kill on the turnaround. Hardcore comes into the fight a little bit late. Does have the Sentinel of Zeus. Might be able to find a nice big turnaround. Leap is just off the mark, but there's the ult, and there's the kill. It's Hunter for Hunter with a nice sprinkling of Genetics in favor of the Leviathans.
Look, Netroid dies. We just let them get to fire. We let them pull it. We let them deal some damage to it. And we'll come in and coin flip it, but try and win the fight more than anything else.
Well, Genetics is going to be the target right now for the Leviathans. They get a lot of damage dealt, and they will be able to pick up the kill. 5 of them onto the tier 1 in mid. Get the support, and they get the tower. And they start to fall back, but that might not be all they want. They get the ult on the Variety, they get a good knock-up, and now they're going to continue the chase. They're looking for this kill. They really want to get rid of him, and they're going to be able to do so. And now Twig is re-engaged, but Twig is gone before he can get anything done. Genetics is between 5, and the damage is ringing true. The ult comes out, but it's not enough to get any turnarounds. It's a 3-for-0 Fury. Let's go ahead and call it a Fire Giant as well.
Kings just don't get on the same page there because the Leviathans used a lot to earn themselves that Fury. They used Terra ult, they used Nike ultimate, they used a lot. So the Kings set looked like they wanted to shade over towards Fire and try and take a 5v5 there, knowing that they didn't have those great tools, but Variety just gets caught out so easily.
You've got a couple of levels.
They're in the mist.
They're in the mist. I was going to mention the fact that Genetics is level 13, 4 levels down, but Zapman is going to end up dying here. A great kill for Tings, but they're looking to turn this around. Netroid's low, and Panatom's back there. Panatom gets the kill, and now Variety is the one who's getting chased down. It seems like the Leviathans trying to figure out who to go on next. Twig seemed to be the option. They don't have the lockdown for it. Genetics is worth nothing at this point. He's level 13, and it's an easy kill to scoop up on the back end. Same thing with the Variety. It's the frontliners gone, plus Netroid.
Is Tings caught? No, I think he's out.
Oh, no, there's going to be the ult over the wall. That is going to delay the back. Panatom now going for the cut-off path. Where are you going to go? He's got a lot of damage returned. Panatom's actually incredibly low. Will live through the engagement, but they kill off Tings. A great pick for them to find. And minions coming in. All TMI spawn. Oh, that's going to be enough to create open space for the Leviathans to get this Phoenix. They're going to get aggressive. Netroid is 1 hit from dead. Panatom's looking for it. They're going to find it just inside. Tings gets a good ult and is able to find some damage in return, but it's not going to be enough. Twig falls just after. That's a minute left without most of your carries. The Hardcore does go down. Tings turns one around for the Leviathans, or for the Kings. Now the Leviathans have to go and look elsewhere on the left side Phoenix.
They got the left side Phoenix, and it's going to be a little bit before a fire wave gets here, but 40+ seconds on Netroid and Twig means they can just play it slow. Wait for this fire wave.
Or so seconds. That's going to be started up. Rongyu and Zapman already in position for it, but Genetics, Netroid, Tings are looking to run down the jungle in right. Good knock-up from Hardcore. Gets aggressive onto Netroid, and they're going to chase it down. Panatom's here, and the damage is followed through. Aegis forced out from Netroid, but it's not going to be enough to save his life. The slashes from Panatom are enough, and then Twig is just erased before anything big can happen. Genetics gets a huge freeze for his team, but there's not enough follow-up. You have a good ult from Tings, but it's Aegis out from the other side. Zapman lives through that, finds a kill or assists a kill onto Genetics. It's all Panatom as of right now. 10-1 and 10 for the jungle, and they're going to continue this onslaught. They kill off Variety, and it is Tings versus the world. It does not look good for Tings in that scenario. They don't need the Fire Giant. They get the last 2 Phoenixes that are necessary. They close out the set, and the Leviathans win.
What a way to start off the group stage, huh? By coming in, you know, Group A, it's a lot of great teams. It looks very, very top heavy. You know, these games can be really, really valuable to you.